good or bad software. So the definition of good software changes with the person who is evaluating. Okay. See, for example, we written a program, a simple addition program, int A, int B. Okay. So I want to add A plus B. Some X person is evaluating the program A and B 100 plus 100. So the final value received as 200 as a desired output. So satisfied that person X. When it comes to person Y, he want to check the addition of two integer values where the two input values he considered just like more than the limitation of integers. He want to check, right? So that Y person now when evaluating that program as it is defined as a short int and he is submitting the long int values, he may not get the exact addition value. The sum may not get exact value because it exceeds the limitation. 10 millions plus 100 millions, Y want to add. It exceeds the short int limit, so it won't get the output properly. See, that is what the meaning of the second point. Depending on the person who is evaluating, see means depending on the person, what is the input he is going to be submitting to the program, right? That is what the meaning here. The software is required by the customer, used by the end of the users of an organization and developed by the software engineers. See, the software used by the end of the users means who is actually required it. Developed by the software engineer and required by the customer. See, I'll say an ATM software, it is designed by the software engineer and end users, they are the clients, direct clients are the bank, whoever, SBI, for example, employer, they want actually SBI ATM software and it is required by the customer, SBI customers. See, somebody is requesting, somebody is writing the software, somebody is utilizing the software. So when some three different persons are involving part and parcel of the software, so each requirements maybe differs, obviously differs. See, when a software engineering engineer developing a program in their own sense, they are thinking about the inputs and outputs. But as a customer, when they are using the system, they may be submitting different kinds of test cases and different types of inputs. Okay, so here, but the software should be able to, yes, satisfy all kinds of the person inputs and still it need to generate a desirable output. Each one will evaluate different kind of attributes differently in order to decide whether the software is good. See, all kind of test cases need to be satisfied. That is what we call a software is a good software. See, these are all you need to write. So the person who is evaluating based on their own inputs, we can decide whether software is good or not. The thing is here, the software is required by someone and developed by somebody, and actually the end users of organization is somebody. So when different kind of the persons are involving, obviously there is a gap will be addressing. But that gap has to be fulfilled by the software which we are going to be designing. And as well as each one will evaluate the different kind of attributes in the different directions. So obviously these are all attributes need to be satisfied to decide whether the software is good or not. So finally we can say if a software is satisfying these are all types of attributes, then we decide that the software is good or bad. So now we'll see the direct terminology here, various kinds of the attributes which are common to decide good software. Yes, these terms are very much important. You need to remind actually, you need to practice. The software should the software should deliver the required functionality and performance to the user should be maintainable, dependable and usable, right? Your software is working very perfectly and generating the desired outputs, but it is too much difficult to maintain, right? It is too much difficult to operate with different kinds of operating systems. Then it is not functionally good. The software is working very fine, but it is depending on the hardware components as well as some of software components. So specifically when that processor, when that particular type of OS is available, then only it is generating the proper output. Then it should say that it is dependable. It is dependable. And also it should be usable. So we'll take some more examples to make it clear. See, the first thing is maintainability. Maintainability is, what is this? One of the attribute which decides your software is good. Okay. See, maintainability is nothing but the software must evolve to meet changing needs. See, for example, you have written one of the software sales ordering project. Some people who want to purchase some of the product from the supermarket, they are using normally sales ordering project. They want to order the some of the goods. So in such case, at the time of developing that particular software by the software engineer or the developers, they have been used the Java, for example, 10th version, right? So after 3 years of time, that version has been updated. Maybe Java 11 is utilizing. But at the time of developing that software, it has been written in version 10. Even though that version is not at all using after the 3 years period of time, but still it need to be support to execute in version 11 also. This is what we can call maintainability. The software should adapt the changes. It should be in a position to avoid the changes. At any case, even though platform or even though the version has been updated, still your software system need to support to execute in all kind of environments. Right? This is what maintainability. Please listen carefully. I'll be asking queries also. If you have any doubt also you can ask me. And the second one is dependability. Of course, our components, the software is going to be depending, but somehow it has to work. See, maybe every software is required some kind of processor, some kind of OS when it is executing. But normally to decide whether it is good software or not, it should not be dependable in a deep level. Like so, it is supporting a Linux family is nothing but any of Linux family operating system, it has to work. It has to work. It should not say like only Linux Red Hat version, only a Linux like Ubuntu 11 version, Ubuntu 10 version, 10.1 version. It should not depend like that. That is what we call it trustworthy. The trustworthy means, see, any kind of Linux family operating system, the software is going to be need to be work. It should not be specifically defined only for that particular version again. Okay, it will depend, but it should not actually depend into the deep level. Yes, see, of course, it has been written in Unix. It may not work in Windows. It's fine. But even though it is depending on Unix, but it is not allowing different versions of the Unix, it should not be dependent in that level, right? This is what the software must be trustworthy. And the third one, efficiency, as the name it is indicating, whenever we are writing a program, the software, it should not be waste the usage of the system resources. For example, our C language. Whenever you're writing a software, whenever you're implementing a program in a C programming language, so obviously the nature of C is it is complex, structure oriented. So once if you are writing a function is nothing but it is involving the complexity. It is not too much efficient. But when the same software or the same program you are writing in case of object oriented programming languages category, so the nature of that object oriented programming is obviously it reduces the complexity. You can inherit the classes. Once you write some code in a class, okay, you can reuse it. The reusability is there, so it is not wasting the resources. Okay, so when you're writing some program or some software is nothing but it should be efficient. It should not be make use of or wasting the system resources. Every time the same code repeatedly you are writing is nothing but it increases the size of the code. You are increasing the size of the code is nothing but your memory resource of the system is also going to be wasted. Then it should not be an efficient. Okay, so you have to select a proper language, okay, which is reusable, in which you can be write a precise software. Then obviously it meets the requirement of efficiency. Efficiency in the sense the software should not make wasteful usage of the system resources. And the last one more attribute actually, usability. Usability is nothing but it should be usable. The program or a software, whatever you are writing, it should be usable by the users for which it was designed. See, the problem should be very clear. The purpose of writing a software should be very clear. I mean to say, for what purpose you are writing your program, it has to be utilized properly. The uses for which it was designed need to be addressed properly. This is what usability, right? See, attributes of a good software we have been discussing now as part of this maintainability, dependability, efficiency, and usability. Four attributes. Okay, these are all four attributes of a software will decide that whether your written software is good or bad. If these four attributes has been satisfied, then obviously you can say that functionally and performance wise your written program is good. Yes. Yes, my dear students, are you listening? Yes. Yes. Okay. Fine. Mute your speaker. I just wanted to check whether I want to wake up all the sleepy students and 522 come to the line. 522.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So 522. What is your name? Subhasha.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma. Yeah. Shubhas, tell me, we are discussing which course?
Software engineering, ma'am.
Software engineering. Very good. What do you mean by software?
Software is a set of programs which
Hmm?
which acquires
Yes.
inputs and manipulates
Uh-huh. Yes, like.
the program
Hmm. Yes.
to produce desired output, ma'am.
Yeah. Software is a set of instructions to acquire inputs and to manipulate them to produce the desired output in terms of functions and performance as determined by the user of the software. And it is also including the set of documents such as software manual. Okay, try to remind this complete definition or simply whatever you defined also 100% right only. Very good. Yes, ma'am. Mute your speaker. Yes, ma Jahnavi. Come to the line. Jahnavi, are you there? Shall I
Yes.
make you as absent?
Hello.
Okay. How can you describe a software system?
A software is described by its capabilities. The
Yes.
capability the capabilities relate to the function it executes, the
Hmm.
features it provides, and facilities it offers.
Very good. Very good. Super, ma.
Thank you.
Yes. Mute your speaker. Okay. And one more question. Lavanya, come to line. J6. Yes, Lavanya, are you there? Yes. Yes, ma J6, Lavanya. I'll make you as an absent. Yes, ma Sandhya. Jahnavi, mute your speaker. Sandhya, come to line N4.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma Sandhya, how are you? Yes, ma Sandhya, how are you?
Fine, ma'am. What about you, ma'am?
Yes, ma, I'm feeling well still now. Okay. Uh, how many classifications of software are available?
Two classifications, ma'am.
Can you name it?
Generic software, customized software.
What is the difference between generic and customized software systems?
Generic is designed for broad customer market, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And
Customized means?
unique values.
Okay, okay. Okay. Right only, but it needs a little bit more explanation. But fine, ma. Very good. Mute your speaker. Yes, I'll tell you the difference between a generic and a customized software. When you are asked regarding the differences, you need to explain like generic software means it is designed for broad customers, and whenever the software is addressing very common requirements, very fairly stable requirements, you are saying that it is a generic software. There is no any confusion regarding the requirements, well understood requirements by the software engineer. But customized software, you know, it is very specific to the domain. The requirements are being unique to the customer, and this customized software requirements generally not satisfied by the generic products. Okay, very simple. Okay, simply you can address. Fine. And these are also, try to note somewhere, ma. How can we decide the software is good? These four attributes: maintainability, dependability, efficiency, and usability. This is what just now we completed, and we'll see one more topic in today's class, that is the characteristics of software. Okay, we have seen the attributes of good software, and both are different topics, don't confuse. Okay, the next topic we are going to be discussing regarding the characteristics. Some of you please tell me, what do you mean by a characteristic? General meaning? Anyone? Yes, ma, wake up.
Features, ma'am.
Ah. Yes. Some of you tell me. Characteristic means? Yes, ma.
Specifications.
Yes. Can you repeat? It is not audible.
Specifications,
Yeah,
ma'am.
specifications. Very good. You can say the features or specifications. Okay, that is a characteristics, right? Fine. See, the software has always some dual roles. When we are talking about a software product, a particular thing, but also a vehicle for delivering a product. I'll explain this. Uh, it is logical, but rather than a physical system element. See, I mean to say it is not a physical component, it is functionally working to generate the general output functionalities. To understand more clearly, we need to discuss some more points here. Software has some characteristics that differs from hardware. Obviously, whatever hardware components we are using, the characteristics of that hardware component is not at all similar to the software characteristics. I mean to say, when you are talking about a hardware component, we'll say that uh, in a classical sense, you can say the hardware component is manufactured, but when you are talking about a software component or a software or a program, you're logically writing, no, you can say it is developed, it is programmed, or it is engineered. See, we are talking about the characteristics. A software is developed, a software can be engineered, software can be programmed, but when you say the hardware, it is manufactured. It is a physical product, it has to be manufactured. But a software, logically, you're writing the program, it is not at all a physical component. You can say a software is to be developed, software is engineered, it is programmed. That is one of the characteristic. And second one, it does not wear out. It does not wear out. It is not physically coupled with any other components. It is logically swans. Okay, and most of the software is custom built. Most of the software is custom built as nothing but depending on customer requirements, the software engineers or developers are going to be built it, write it, rather than assemble. See, for example, if you want to talk, if you are manufacturing a car is consisting different kinds of components, physical components. You need to assemble all of these. Even if you take a mobile, see, you need to assemble with integrated circuit as well as screen, some of the LED, everything, speaker, everything you need to assemble to make it into a mobile phone. But a software is a custom built. You need to write a program. Logically, you have to create a functions. You need to engineer it. You need to develop it. You need to check it with proper input and it is generating the desirable output or not. These are the characteristics of the software. We cannot compare actually these characteristics with the hardware. It is most considerably differs from the hardware characteristics. So why means a simple answer is the software is a logical rather than a physical system element. Even though you can say a software component, for example, a simple class in Java, a class in CPP, okay, or in advanced Java program, a JSP, a servlet, a bean. These are all what? Software components. These are not something else to address like a physical element. These are all are logical elements. Okay, so the software characteristics are these three only. Okay, whatever I wrote in red color, no, these three only. Software is developed, is engineered, it doesn't manufacture just like a hardware component. The software does not wear out, of course, and most of the software is custom built rather than being assembled from the existing components. We are not assembling, we are not integrating with the other physical component, other existing components. We are not doing exactly this. Yes, even in your computer system, you are going to be assembling your processor, your HP processor with the other circuits, other integrated circuits to make it into a inbuilt. But we are not doing like that anything. Logically, we are writing, we are programming, we are executing in the memory. That's it, right? These are the characteristics. Okay, so characteristic is nothing but we know, right? It is a specification to discuss. A characteristic is a feature actually. So generally what kind of features that are going to be exposed by the software system, that is what we are discussing now. So these three are the characteristics of the software. If you have any queries, please message me now. Otherwise, we'll see into the next small topic. You can message me or you can ask me directly. Try to ask more queries. Okay, don't blindly connect to the class, ma. Yes, ma, 520. If you have any query, ask me. I
No,
saw
ma'am.
your... No? Okay,
No, ma'am.
fine. L5, are you following the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And 16, Likita.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, listening to the class.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sri Lakshmi. Sri Lakshmi N3. She slept already. Yes. Okay. So no questions, no doubts. Shall I move to the next slide?
Okay,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Yes, Siddharth. Fine.
No doubt, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So still now we have seen about what is a software, description of software, and the classifications of software, and how to decide whether the software is good or not. And we also discussed attributes and characteristics, right? And the next topic we'll see about, see what kind of natures actually that are going to be having by the software. So simply you can address like different kinds of softwares or software system types or software types, categories of the software. You can address like this. So here, what is naturally its policy of a particular software? This is what we are going to discuss in this slide. Okay, what is naturally the policy of the software system? See, by the term itself, the system software, if you listen, system software. Okay, so system software is, I'll tell you first an example to understand easily. A linker, loader, compiler, operating system, your JVM, okay, Python bindings, these are all our system softwares. Okay, see, the collection of programs written to service other programs at system level. See, for example, operating system. Some of you tell me what is operating system. Tell me, even though it is wrong answer, first respond to the question. Yes, what is?
Interface between the
Medi-
user and the system, ma'am.
Yes, very good, ma. 520, right? Vema is also saying something. Tell me, Vema. Yes.
Same. Medium between
Same.
medium between user and software, madam.
Yes, 100%. Okay.
Madam,
Operating system.
it manages computer hardware, madam, and
Yes,
software
it
resources.
manages the computer's hardware. Very good, Siddharth. Right.
And software resources, madam, to give
Yes.
output.
Yes, it manages all software resources to generate the output. Right. Anything else? Any more answers? Any additional answers for OS? Yes? Okay, fine. All of you are right only. So basically it is a software. Yes, it is a software. It manages the computer's hardware, right? And it is interacting with the user, and it provides an interface between the computer's hardware and the user. Somebody said right only. Yes, right. So what is finally what a OS is doing? We are saying that it is a system software. So at system levels, the operating system is going to be providing the services to manage the other programs, to service the other programs. For example, it manages the memory, a cache memory, right? Or it manages any kind of main memory or secondary resources it wanted to collect. Yes, it will do it, right? For example, you have written one of the C program. So your OS has to load the compiler, the C compiler, because these instructions are going to be make it ready in the main memory system to be executed by the C compiler only. Because OS did not understand your high level instructions of C. To run that program only, the OS required a specific software which you are calling compiler. So you can say that your OS only written to service the compiler program at system level, right? So simply you can define some collection of programs written to service the other programs at system level. This is what you are calling system software. Okay, examples: compilers, operating systems, linkers, loaders. These are all will be the system software. At system level, this programs written to service the other programs. I think so. It is clear.
Yes, ma'am, clear, ma'am.
Yeah, right. So second one is another kind of software is real-time software. Real-time software. See, as the name it is indicating that meaning, when you are writing or implementing the real-time applications, this programs are going to be, this software is going to be utilized for that purpose. Programs that monitor, programs that analyze, programs that control real world events as they occur, these are said to be real-time software. See, I'll repeat: programs that monitor, that can be able to analyze, that can control the real world events as they occur. See, I'll tell you, emulator. If you are using the sensors, okay, the sensor also it is consisting of softwares inside, real-time software. It can be able to monitor all the events which are going to be occurred up to the distance. It is monitoring, for example, a temperature sensor. It, it always monitors the temperature, right? For example, the sensor specifically, some are designed for detecting the tsunami. The tsunami detection system, they are consisting of sensor. They'll be always monitoring all the wavelengths. They are going to be analyzing with the previously existing data, and now whatever they have generated newly the wavelengths. So these are real-time softwares. And one more examples in aircrafts, if you are using the aircraft system to monitor, right? So each and every schedules of the flights and all, and whatever they are dispatching the jobs, these are all will be done by the real-time software. And you can say our embedded system, a best example is a washing machine. Okay, how much time it has to rinse the cloths, how much time your machine should wash the cloths, and how to take, how much measurement of water it need to include and integrate with the other solutions, right? These are all real-time systems. The programs is are monitoring, analyzing, and controlling the real world events. These are the examples. I said aircraft as an example, sensors, as well as your embedded systems and your washing machine. Okay, these are all will be the real-time software applications. Coming to the next one, the business softwares. These are the programs specifically written to access, to analyze, to process the business information. This is what we call business software. Okay. For example, if you are going to be observing the share markets, each and every time your share price for each and every unit is going to be keep on changing. Okay, the yesterday, this time, and today, before 1 hour, after 1 hour, next 20 minutes, the value is going to be changing depending on some other purchases, some other sales. Okay, so these are keep on changing. So has to analyze a lot of things, has to process a lot. It need to access some other programs also. So this SharePoint is an example. You can say keep on complete updations and has to be exposed and integrate with some other program outputs. This is what we call business software, right? So we discuss system software, real time, business, and a system software. This is what regularly in laboratories we are going to be using. Okay, and real time I said aircraft system and embedded systems you can use. Business software I said in share markets you are normally using this one. And at last it is not last one but next one, fourth one, engineering and scientific software. See, all the simulators which are used actually to process the scientific applications. I can tell you an example of your Indian simulator, NS3, NS2, eucalyptus. Okay, these are all what? These are all the experimentations we can do with the networks as well as clouds. Cloud simulator. See, where exactly we cannot go and run our physical experimentations, we'll take the simulations, simulators. The same kind of environment is going to be provided here. So by using the scientific application data, we can be using the number of crunching algorithms for different kinds of sciences and different kind of, I can say, the scientific applications. Okay, even your computer aided design, the system simulations, all will be comes here. This is what actually engineering and scientific software. You can define like the software based on some simulation algorithms which are used to process the scientific applications are defined as engineering and the scientific software. See, all this definition as the name, if you understand a little bit, you can be able to write. Doesn't mean that as it is technical definitions you need to write like that. See, if you understand a little bit, no, you can write by your own. And embedded software, I think so you're following. Embedded software is nothing but simply you can define like it is a combination of software as well as hardware. See, the role of software, how much logically you have been written, in the same level you're also been functioning with the hardware components. This is what you can call an embedded software. See, the embedded softwares normally resides in read-only memory and used to control the products. I'll tell you a best example of television remote, your AC remote, okay, where you are using the remotes, no? These are all will be considered as an embedded software. See, the software in that particular system, the program, a small program you will be writing and resides in a read-only memory, ROM. So this ROM program, whatever you written now, this is controlling the entire system. You are controlling through that program up to that distance your television. When you are changing the number, the channel automatically need to be changed. Okay, that entire logic is going to be resides in the ROM. Okay, and specifically if you ask me in EPROM, actually that program is going to be stores. The system for consumers and as well as industrial markets, okay, mostly this kind of softwares are using. It has a very limited and useful functionalities, and controlling capabilities are defined over the embedded softwares. Okay, so you can simply remind that in television remotes, AC remotes, you are writing a simple software program. The logic of that program is going to be written in read-only memory, which can control the entire system. And two more things we have. We'll finish. We'll finish this also. AI. See, very much a trendy topic nowadays, this AI softwares. You might have listened is machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, all kinds of the softwares, right? So what these are all will do is nothing but using some techniques, using some methods, we are trying to solve the complex problems. So how to solve that complex problem? We'll provide some training to the system. So naturally, how a human being is going to be do or implement the things through the program we are training to the system. So even though it is very much complex task and wanted to solve and take the decisions, so more naturally we are providing the techniques through the methods, and we are programming, we are writing logic for this, and you are going to be implementing in the software. Right, you can take like expert systems, pattern recognitions, some of gaming softwares. These are all kinds of the applications will be through AI software only. Okay, not only your embedded software and your other system softwares, real-time softwares, scientific softwares, you can define also the nature of AI software. Okay, an artificial intelligence software, simply AI software you can say. And one more kind we have, internet software. See, these are all terminologies not frequently we are using, but these are also existing. Okay, when somebody is asking you what is internet software, you should be able to give some examples at least. Okay, internet software, the programs that are going to be supporting for internet accessibility. Okay, the program that has been supporting or that has been written actually to retrieve the data from the internet, or to transfer the data over the internet, or to execute some of the internet applications, you require this kind of programs which you are calling internet software. A best example I can say for internet software is browser, right? Your search engines, your Google, it is also a software. Any of e-commerce software, your Google Chrome, Opera, right? Internet Explorer, these are all kinds of browsers you can say, and e-commerce software, some of authorizing tools, okay, search engine, Google search, okay, these are all you can say the internet software. I told you, no, as the name, the definition is going to be, as the title, it indicates the meaning, right? So internet software is nothing but the program that supports for internet accessibility and for running the internet applications you are using. This is what we call actually an internet software. Example is browsers, search engines and all. Okay, I think so. I think so. It is clear. If you have any queries, you can ask me. Yes. Yes, ma.
It's clear, ma'am.
Clear? Yes.
Okay.
What about remaining? All of you are sleeping? Respond.
Clear,
No, no.
ma'am.
Yes. Why you are not talking, ma? Harati, M5. Harati, somebody, Krishna profile. M5, are you absent today for the class?
No, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, okay. Is it clear? Any queries?
No, ma'am, I understand.
Understood everything. Okay. Fine, ma. We'll discuss here. We'll see in the next class. I'll be sharing unit 1 today. You also have a look on PPT. If you have any queries, you can ask me at any time. And one more thing I just wanted to say, I'll be strictly collecting the attendance every day. And after that, I don't want to give even attendance for a single class. Okay? Yes, ma, you
Okay,
can
ma'am.
disconnect from the class.